holidays are here. They're upon us. Like it or not, even though it's the 29th of
Is your tree
November.
up?
Trees up, lights on the roof,
God, you're way
lights
ahead
in
of
the
me.
tree.
I'm doing it this weekend.
The wreath hook is on the front door, yet we have not gotten a wreath yet. But that is probably in the near future. I would say within the next 48 hours, we will be getting the wreath. And
You going to go to Costco, get the Costco wreath?
no, because it's too big.
I love that wreath.
It's huge, though.
Makes your whole house smell like a Christmas
it's a
tree.
good deal. Don't get me wrong.
If you don't have a real one.
You're getting a lot of wreaths for the money. But
I'm going to get 2.
Does one need that much wreath?
I'm going to get 2 because I really want my house smelling like a tree.
It's Costco. I mean, you got to win in Rome.
Maybe they sell them in 2 packs. I don't know. I don't think so. But
If they do, you want to part with one of them?
see, I got to quit talking about it. Everybody's going to go buy them, and then I'm going to be out. Because last year I missed out. Went too late.
It's a good deal. Daughter has written the Santa Claus letter already.
Oh, really?
And we had her write it. And we had her handwrite it. And I ran across something this morning that said that 96% of parents have their kids handwrite the letter to Santa Claus.
Okay.
Which makes
That's how we did it.
Makes sense on the surface because that's how we did it. But are we failing our youth by having them do as we did because we did not have access to typewriters or word processors, or even better yet, what everybody uses right now, a computer?
Right. Well,
Are we doing a disservice to them by saying, hey, write out this letter?
no, it's an art that will never go away. We'll always write things down.
No! That's not true.
Well, there's a difference between
There's
you and
things-
I.
there are
Every
things-
morning, I bring out, I have paper, I write out everything. You do everything on your computer.
Yes.
Now,
Because that's what keyboards are for. They're more efficient.
but I mean, this is just scratch stuff, right? Like, this is just like stuff that I need quick and I can get rid of. If I go to a meeting, I bring my laptop in and I'll take notes that way because then I can save everything.
For a 4-year-old,
But she's 4, Jeff.
No,
I mean,
for a 4-year-old, there is no more of an official document that you could write than the letter to Santa Claus, okay? That is the most important document you are going to compose all year long.
does she know how to type and all that?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, well.
But should I be teaching her how to type?
It's a
Because
school.
I'll tell you this, her writing ain't all that great either. She's 4,
Well,
okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right.
So should I bypass the handwriting and the handwritten letter to Santa Claus, or should I skip to 2017 and say, hey, we're doing it on this right here. We're doing it on the keyboard.
Here's the thing. It's all a scam anyway, so what's it matter?
What do you mean?
Are you afraid that you're you know what I mean?
What's a scam?
Come on. It's an adult thing, but we all know.
There's a mailbox outside of his house that he's supposed to go
You're
through.
sitting there and you're asking her what she wants for Christmas from Santa Claus, and you're making your notes as well. So what's it really
If
matter?
what you're saying is correct, then shouldn't it be, in order to avoid any errors in print, in Times Roman, or in Arial font, so you don't misconstrue and make a mistake based on what was written down by a 4-year-old's handwriting?
Yeah, okay, see? Now you're onto something. And maybe this is a
And
good
that's
opportunity for you to start teaching her about computers
That's why
and
we,
keyboards.
as society, have transitioned from writing things down to typing them out on a computer or a typewriter or whatever. I mean, first came along the typewriter, and we're like, oh, right, this typewriter's not bad. I could see it replacing handwriting. Then the computer comes along, and it totally replaces
This
handwriting.
could be a good timing, though.
When's the last time you handwritten something, Jeremy?
Oh, well, I just told you earlier, I
Outside
write
of your
every
notes.
day.
Outside
my
of
notes.
anything official. Anything.
Cards, that's it. Like greeting cards, birthday cards, that type of
Because
thing.
you have
Thank
to.
you
You
cards.
can't put that into a computer.
Yeah, you got to write those out.
And
But-
that's how they've been able to stay in business. The greeting card business has been able to stay in business because they're like, well, we could charge people $7 for a piece of cardboard because we're making them write on it.
All right, let's grab a couple people here. Johnny wants to weigh in first. Go ahead, man.
Listen up, Jeff. You want her to write that letter, bro. When you're an older guy like me, grown and almost gone, the reflection, bro, in your scrapbook, those letters and they write and the art pieces are more priceless than anything that's on a typewriter, bro.
Yeah, but what? Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
listen, this is what happened to this letter. It went into an envelope. And we did not make like a carbon copy of it or anything. It went into an envelope, and then it went into Santa's mailbox down at his house down in the Mission. So we're never going to see that letter again. So why don't I do her a service and make sure that she gets it right as opposed to handwriting it out?
Well, okay, Jeff, bro, what do you do with the loses her teeth, man? Do you really send them off to the tooth fairy, or do they go in your scrapbook, bro?
No, but
daddy.
But listen, you have to put that letter into the envelope. She's watching you put that letter in the envelope. It's got to go into Santa's mailbox. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, but no way, bro. I learned how to be a creative parent, man, and work things to my benefit later, bro. You do the sly slip of hands, bro.
Yeah, he's
when
talking
they're that
about
little, man.
working the Christmas magic, Jeff. He's working the Christmas magic.
Put the fake envelope.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it.
Use the fake envelope.
Yeah, but
I gotcha.
there is something to when you go back down the road, because usually Santa will usually send those letters back, right? Sometimes Santa sends those letters back, and then you get to put them in your
Not in our case,
scrapbook.
because we didn't put the return address on it. We didn't get that memo.
Now you're not going to be able to go back when she's 20 and go, look at how cute your writing was.
All we got is a mailbox out in front of his house.
When my parents did that with me in the scrapbook, you know what I did? I'm like, yeah, who cares? Let's move on. 543-3693. Hi, good morning. Go ahead.
Hi. One of my points was the same thing that the other guy said. I mean, my kids are in their 20. Shoot, he turned 30. So you don't get those moments back unless you have stuff like that. And then the other issue is there's got to be a happy medium between handwriting and typing. I work at a college. I work out at Cuesta College. You cannot read their writing, and they can't spell for Jack.
Right.
And these are, I come on the end where when they're applying for graduation. And you can't, they just simple things of writing their name and their student ID number on their application for graduation, you can't read it.
That's scary.
And the same thing, the gal that works with public safety when they fill out the little form for their parking permit.
Yeah.
You can't read it and they can't spell.
So eventually you want them to type it out so they get it right?
Well, if they need to, they need to do, like I said, happy medium. They need to learn how to write and write legibly so other people can read it.
But they're not going to. I mean, this is like one of those things that it's going to become a lost art form.
It depends on what. It depends what they go into. I handwrite stuff every day at work. I type and I handwrite stuff every day at work.
I pride myself on my printing. It's very nice.
Yeah, but listen.
Mine too.
How old are you, Becky?
So it's nice.
Don't ask a woman that. I just said my son was 30.
Okay, so you are bare minimum 50. Jeremy's 42. I'm 42. Yes, we handwrite some stuff, but we're talking about kids here. Are they really going to be handwriting things? We're talking about
in 20 years,
chips being implanted in heads, taking over our thoughts and just putting them out on to change the channel on the TV or voice to text. I mean, we're in voice to text time right now.
Yeah, but it depends on what line of work they go into. I mean, if they're in an office
see a line of work.
There's no disadvantage if your daughter can print and print well. There's just no disadvantage to that. You don't lose. There's no loss
unless
there.
it takes away from the prowess that she could be owning in on her typing and her voice to text skills.
Yeah, well,
because those are going to be more.
And she has an iPad.
Those are going to be more important moving forward beyond
Jeff,
2017.
You already bought her an iPad and she's 4, so I don't think she's going to lose out on those skills. Thank you, Becky.
Okay.
Jeff believes that he shouldn't teach his daughter how to write because she's going to be typing her whole life. Now, a lot of people disagree.
Well, I didn't say that. I said she should have did the Santa Claus letter on the typewriter. I mean,
because you're saying writing is a lost cause. That's what you said. She shouldn't have to learn how to write because she should just focus on typing so she can get better at that. Isn't that what you're saying?
There's a reason why we as society type things out. Okay, it's because it is standard. And it gets the message across. You know how much wasted time is going on up at the North Pole right now as Santa Claus is sitting there and he's opening letters from children and he's trying to decipher what the hell a 4-year-old's writing down. It's like, I bet you...
That's part of his magic.
I don't have Santa Claus's phone number, but if we were to talk to Santa Claus and I said, Santa Claus, would you prefer kids type out their letters or handwrite their letters? You know what he would say? Oh my gosh, if you could get him to type, please lead some kind of charge. I am the one that is on number 1 on the good list.
You think that's what he would say?
Santa Claus.
How do you know what he would say? Maybe you should write him and ask him.
Have you ever tried to read the handwriting of a 4-year-old?
Well, I don't know. Santa has a lot of magic. You know, how does he get his fat ass down that chimney and then eat the cookies and go back up? I have no idea, but it's something that he does. Preston writes in, and maybe Santa would agree with Preston. Says, don't dumb your kids down. They don't
dumbing them down.
They don't need to know how to fish or parallel park either these days, but it can't hurt.
Do they need to know how to fish?
Hey, you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. You give a man a fish, you feed Feed him for a
not-
day.
that's-
You teach a man to fish. You feed him
not-
for the rest of his life.
That's not true. You get a job by being able to work a computer, and then you go down to the store and you buy a fish.
Let's see. Preston writes in. He says, skills are lost because people get lazy.
You don't waste all that time trying to stick a line on a pole and hope that you can get a fish to bite the hook.
This is so interesting. I can't even believe this is a discussion that parents are having with young kids if we should teach them how to write.
They're not. 96% are saying that they're going to have their kids write. I'm sure Santa Claus is thrilled when he gets that chicken scratch
Somebody just wrote in on
of a letter that's written once a year.
805 beer text lines that, when you look at texts and emails and social posts and millennials that don't know how to spell because grammar and spelling and punctuation is so wrong. What's wrong with teaching kids how to write? I guess if you're teaching kids how to write, you're teaching them better grammar, you're teaching them better punctuation.
That's old thinking.
Spelling.
That's old thinking right there.
My thing is, I text all the time, and I do voice to text.
You ever notice whenever old person wants to justify...
But the phone, hold on a second, but the phone will autocorrect it. So I don't understand why people are having a problem with posts and texts and emails, because anytime you misspell a word, your computer, your phone, your device, whatever it is, there'll be a little red line underneath it.
Which leads to more efficiency, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't teach you how to spell.
Do you need to know how to spell?
Hey, listen, I've never been a great speller, especially when it comes to people's names. I'm terrible at spelling names. I'm finally getting better into my 40s, but in my 20s and 30s, it was atrocious. I went to journalism school, and the only reason I passed was because I found a way to hack in to get the spell check to work on the computers they gave us.
I think that
and I got away with it.
If you are using spell check, like the only people that need to know how to spell really anymore are spelling bee participants, right? Because they're not allowed to use any. I mean, that's become the lost art form, is spelling, not the handwriting. The handwriting, people still attempt the handwriting, but let's face it, do we need to do it? No. Do we do it as a society? No. Do our kids do it for the most part? No, because look, in schools, computers have replaced paper and pens.
It used to drive me nuts when we'd go to class in college and there would be a lecture and we had to write all these notes down that the person would be putting up on a PowerPoint. And I'm thinking, why don't you just print all this out and hand it to us so we don't have to focus on writing and we can actually make notes on what you're saying. And then, there was obviously a reason they wanted us to write everything out. Apparently,
What's that reason? No,
paying $10,000 a year wasn't enough.
The reason is... And I think now what you're talking about is more prevalent. I bet you anything, if you were in college right now, you would get the handouts of these presentations. It's just they didn't have the wherewithal or the means to do so when we were going to school. Now they do.
Sure they did. Yeah, they were already on a PowerPoint. All you do is print it and then make copies for everybody.
I understand that, but the old way of thinking of being able to have to be able to take notes in class was still... It was still preached, just like it is preached that our kids need to learn how to write out something. When I'm saying they don't need to learn how to write out something.
I always figured it was because they wanted you to come to class.
Yeah.
And otherwise you could get the notes from somebody else.
Perhaps.
But maybe. All right. Vince is on the line. He's been wanting to say something about the kids and the writing. Go ahead, man.
I'm a big proponent of actually writing out the letter because these kids that they're like 5, 6 years old, they need to learn how to write first before they get to a computer. Because if they don't know how to write and don't know what the letter is, how are they going to go to a computer and be like, okay, which letter is A?
You skip that. You skip that whole process. You like that. The letter A is right there. That's the letter A. It's right next to the S and between the S and the caps lock.
But still,
But if they don't recognize the letter, they need to write it out and recognize the letter.
You can't teach them that. I mean, you could teach them what the letter is on the...
You know what's going to be bad is when your daughter is a teenager and you never pushed her to write anything and nobody ever in school pushed her to write anything, and she meets a friend and she has beautiful writing, and now all of a sudden she feels at a disadvantage.
No, it's not going to be necessary.
Because she can't write.
It will be an art form. Yeah, people that could do it, they'll be like, whoa, I can't believe you're doing that. But just like the same people that make their own clothes right now, we'll be like, wow, good job on you making your own clothes. But you know what? It's a lot easier, and I'm making a lot further in life, not wasting my time making my own clothes.
Thanks, Vince, for the call. We appreciate it. Somebody writes in, he says, hey, Jeff, why not just trash the whole thing and just email it?
Sure, why not?
I mean, I'm sure Santa has an email, right?
I'll go that route. It's more efficient.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for hanging on. Go ahead.
Good morning, Jeremy. Hey, about the printing and the writing, I treat it like it's another language. How could you go wrong by knowing another language?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Jeff's had to listen.
This is where you go
Does this
wrong.
have anything to do with your really bad writing? I mean, you're chicken scratches.
I have really bad writing.
It still looks like you're 9 years old.
Because you know why? I learned to type at a pretty young age. And I think it's gotten me further. It's gotten me further in life.
I think that's what it is.
Here's
Spell check too, huh?
hey, Richard, did you learn a language in high school? Was it required that you learn a foreign language?
It wasn't a requirement. It was actually
Elective.
do it on your own.
It's an elective.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Did you do it?
And I learned Spanish.
And how much of that Spanish did you retain?
Enough that I work in construction, I can get the message across to my guys.
Okay. Well,
So
then,
if I said "Buenos dias, cómo está, muchacho," what did I just say?
I don't know.
Come on, that was just a good day. How are you,
But that doesn't have anything to do with construction. I'm more like andale.
Trabajo.
Sí. Muy bueno.
Okay, thanks, Richard.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.